Welcome, listeners, to another spine-chilling episode of Crackin' Cans Cast. Tonight, we delve into one of the most unsettling mysteries of modern folklore. Imagine encountering a child at your door, only to find their eyes as dark as midnight, void of any iris or sclera. These are the black-eyed kids, a mysterious and eerie phenomenon that has captivated and terrified people across the globe. Don't answer the knock. The black-eyed kids.
What's going on, crackheads? It's Crack Daddy Mike here with Butt Crack Corey. I'm gonna ride that to the end.
I wouldn't ride it too hard.
Yeah. What the?
You said you were gonna ride it.
We are 40 seconds in. 40 seconds in. Gosh almighty. This is what you guys heard me a couple episodes ago. Corey does not always make editing easy on my part.
You're lucky I hold in all the F-bombs, though.
Yeah, I didn't hold one in a couple episodes ago. That was uncharacteristic, let's put it that way.
I was proud of you.
Yeah. Yeah. Just don't get me started on that again. Anyway, so we're here today. We're talking about black-eyed kids, black-eyed children. I don't know. What are they? Are they kids? Are they children? Is there a difference?
They go by either.
They go by either? All right.
Yeah.
So I like black-eyed children. I think it has a cooler ring to it.
But we got to stress the eyed, not black-guide, like black guy. No, it's black-eyed.
All right.
We're just stressing that, okay?
Yep.
So there's no confusion.
Yes. All right. So we'll just move on from there. So yeah, today we got that topic, which I'm super excited about because I know pretty much nothing on this topic. I consciously made sure to not look at anything because I thought it'd be, I don't know, maybe be more fun going in the episode like that a little bit.
Dude, well, you're in for it because honestly, like when I first, I knew about this topic for a while, just kind of hearing some stuff here and there, but the more I looked into this, at first I was like, oh, there's not going to be enough, it's going to be a short episode. But as I dug into this topic, I just kept piling up more and more and more and more stuff that I found.
Yeah. Did you have to look hard for it or not really?
Some of it I did, but
yeah.
I mean, a lot of it I gathered just from listening to some different podcasts and stuff, and some other. I used Reddit. I didn't really use Reddit. There was some good Reddit stories, but honestly, we're not going to have time for them. There's a lot of other stories that are going to be probably better than the Reddit ones anyway.
Maybe not better than Reddit. Probably
more believable.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
We'll change the word. More believable than Reddit.
Not better than Reddit.
You're right.
It is rare that we find something better than Reddit.
More believable than Reddit.
So we'll kind of do the beer review a little bit quicker because we got a lot. Corey's got 38 pages worth of stuff going on over there, and it's just he thinks we can do it in one part. So we're gonna see. We're gonna go for it.
This might be our first chapters episode. Screw the parts.
Chapters,
the parts 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
Chapter 1.
Chapter
folks.
1. Here we go. But for as far as the beer goes today, we have one from Cunningham Brewing Company. And it is called Enigma. So a little bit about Cunningham Brewing Company. It's an independent craft brewery established in 2013. Their extremely diverse range of beer styles sets them apart. Look for them on taps at bars near you or visit their tap room in Cunningham, PA, where they maintain 12 rotating taps as well as a selection of cans. They are a production-focused brewery and do not have an on-site kitchen. All guests of the brewery must be 21 or plus. I really probably didn't need to read that part, but that's cool. And they have some events coming up. They have an Oktoberfest event in September and a Trot and Brew, which we missed, so just forget that one. But yeah. And as far as the Enigma goes, I couldn't find too much on the beer. There's not much on the can to go off of. There's nothing on the website, so I just kind of went off some things. And basically, I understand it's a New England and juicy IPA. I'm going to be honest with you, when we pour it out, it is not a New England. It is dark amber, brownish
amber
color.
lager.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it said that they use some rare Australian and New Zealand hops. So, our boy Bluey might have been picking them for all I know.
And maybe that just converts it into a amber lager.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I got no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, limited information. But, Corey, you were the one that kind of picked the Enigma name for your episode, so let's hear what you got.
So, Enigma means a person or thing that is mysterious, puzzling, or difficult to understand. And to me, right away, that is the Black Eyed Kids. Because looking at all the stuff I'm going to go over today about the Black Eyed Kids, there's several hundred different theories of what these Black Eyed Kids are.
And by looking at Corey's notes, we're going to talk about all of them. All of them.
But nobody really knows. They're just really mysterious, spooky. We're going to go over that today. And, I just thought the name of the beer was perfect for what we're going to go over today with the Black Eyed Kids.
Love it.
So, just the word. Not going off the can like we did, with a couple other beers and stuff. Just the word Enigma.
So with that, let's cheers it up. Let's take some sip. Let's dive into the episode.
Let's do it.
As you have already half your beer gone. I'm proud. This is probably the most beer you've had at this point, so good for you.
I was trying really hard to leave at least half.
And I was trying really hard to talk fast so that you would have at least half in there.
Yeah, I drink a little faster. But.
Yeah. So we worked in teams. It worked out. This beer reminds me of another beer I had. This reminds me of the Raging Bitch.
It does a little. Yeah, it does a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it reminds me of. I couldn't put a finger on it, but yeah, it's on a scale of 1 to 5. What are you giving this one?
2.5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 2.5.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah, it's drinkable. I don't know if I'd want to drink these all night. I feel like they'd sour my belly a little bit, but that's just me.
you would definitely get the poops.
I have belly issues.
You do. We'll talk about that in every episode, folks.
Yeah, get used to it. If I'm here, so my belly. And with that, we'll get ready to dive into today's episode. So as we dive into this episode, I guess the biggest question on my mind is what the hell is the Black Eyed Children? Like, what are they? I know nothing about this topic at all.
All right, Mike. So imagine it's the dead of night and a chilling knock shatters the silence. You open the door to find two children with his eyes as dark as the void, their gaze piercing through you with an unnatural coldness. They plead for your help, their voices eerily calm. But as you hesitate, their insistence grows more intense, more unsettling. The hairs on your neck stand on end. As they push closer, their eyes never blinking, their presence growing more menacing. What do you do? Is it too late to shut the door, or will you find out what lies beyond their relentless stare?
I guarantee you I am buying one of two things. It's either a magazine subscription or Girl Scout cookies. That's what's happening right there. Either that or they're going to want to talk to me about political beliefs, or are they just like Jehovah Witness children?
Your car's extended warranty, maybe?
Oh, man, they better not go knocking door to door for that.
They're starting to use kids now for that.
Yeah, that's enough.
So, this, my friends, is the Black Eyed Kids, also called BEK, which I'm going to refer to them as the BEK or Beck, and also sometimes referred to as the Black Eyed Children.
Are they related at all to the Black Eyed Peas, the musical group?
You know, I was planning for you to bring up the Black Eyed Peas. Like, I knew right away when I wanted to do this topic that good old,
predictable?
Good old Crack Daddy Mike was going to somehow bring up the Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah. Did you think it was going to be this early, though?
No, I thought it was going to be a little later, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like when I was like a whole beer in, but no.
Yeah.
No.
Nope, no relation. Nope. At least I don't know of.
I thought you'd have something better planned back.
I didn't. I just knew you were
going to say it. And that's that. We're just going to move on.
We're just going to move on. So, there are many stories involving situations like this where these kids or entities show up in the dark and ask for your help. There are several hundred to thousands of reported cases where people have had experience with the Black Eyed Kids.
Hello. I guess they're not Spanish, are they? I mean, I don't know why.
No, you're not breaking out the no English already. Okay.
May you please help me? Hello. So what? All right. Never mind. I'll let you go.
Yeah.
I have so many questions.
I'm going to hopefully answer some of your questions.
Okay.
All right. So I'm going to go. The first story I'm going to go over here is kind of the story that made the Black Eyed Kids urban legend known to the world, basically. Or made it, like, I guess, more, like, mainstream.
Gotcha.
So, became widely popular in 1998 when an Abilene, Texas reporter named Brian Bethel recalled a personal experience that occurred 2 years prior in 1996.
Is this at all close to the Texas-Mexico border?
I have no idea where Abilene, Texas is.
Okay, just asking.
We'll ask our hired person in the back to look that up then.
Sounds good.
It was a dark night, sometime around 9:30 p.m., and Brian was sitting by himself outside of a movie theater in his car. He was parked in the parking lot writing a check to pay for his dial-up internet. So, 1996, dial-up internet. So he was sitting in the parking lot writing out a check to drop off of this drop box that was next to the movie theater to pay for his internet.
There's no way that this Brian was up to anything good just sitting in his car next to this movie theater. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, go on, Corey, but that's all I'm going to say. There ain't no way he's writing a check. Might be a check that his butt can't cash, but go ahead.
He was approached by two kids wearing a hoodie with the hood covering their heads. He states that the boys were probably around 9 years old. The one was 12 years old. The other one is what he guessed. He described the boys as the one boy was a somewhat polite, olive-skinned, curly-headed young man.
Olive-skinned.
And the second was a red-headed, pale-skinned, freckled young man.
Man, we are hitting opposite ends of the spectrum here, I believe, as far as,
So Brian rolled down his window slightly to see what the boys needed. The boy on the left, so that was the polite, olive-skinned, curly-headed young man, who actually, in a lot of his reports, referred to as suave.
Suave.
Suave
that's
man.
how he acted.
Yeah. Yeah. But I put polite just for people that wouldn't know what suave means.
I prefer.
I thought it was like a shampoo.
I prefer to announce it suave. That's what they call me, Crack Daddy Mikey Suave. Suave. It's Spanish or Italian.
Yeah. So the boy on the left said that they came to the movies to see the new Mortal Kombat, but forgot their money at home. They asked if Brian could give them a ride to their mother's house so that they could get their money. Brian tried telling the kids that the movie already started because he looked up and saw what movies, what times they were playing and stuff. It was on the billboard or whatever right next to the movie theater. So he knew okay, Mortal Kombat was showing at this time.
You figured 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
probably during the week. There's nothing else after that.
Yeah, the movie started 20, 30 minutes ago.
Yeah,
it was something along those lines.
Mortal Kombat. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
So they asked if Brian could give them a ride to their mother's house so that they could get their money. And then Brian tried telling the kids that the movie already started and that they wouldn't make it back in time. The boys did not respond to his statement and began saying pretty much nonsense. They tried to assure Brian that they were just kids and didn't have any guns or anything.
What? Who brings that up?
Yeah, that's can you bring Mister? Can you bring us home to get our money for the movie? And then we don't have any guns or anything. We're just kids.
Sir, I swear that I'm not going to stick you in the throat with a knife.
Yeah.
It's why would you say that?
Yeah.
What made you say I didn't think you were going to do that.
That doesn't make me feel any calmer.
I didn't think you were going to do any of this.
So, obviously, Brian immediately felt a great sense of dread come over him, great fear, feeling scared from the statements that these kids are making.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Brian states that the boys' voices were very robotic, mechanical, and almost rehearsed. And as Brian began looking closer at the boys, he noticed that they had no whites in their eyes. Their eyes were completely black and straight, just darkness.
I already have a theory.
Brian...
just saying, I
just write it down.
I don't need to write it down. I have... This is already solved, so we can either just end this podcast right now and I tell you my theory, or I'll just let you babble on, and I'll just tell you at the end. I have it solved already.
All right,
go ahead.
You want to tell your theory?
No. Go ahead. Lizard people, go ahead.
All right.
It's definitely lizard people.
So Brian rolled up his windows, and before he sped away, one of the boys began knocking on his window more aggressively and said, "We can't come in unless you allow us to come in."
Man, we just talked about this like a couple weeks ago. I mean, maybe not the knocking, but when we went into the dolls, like they're not allowed to come in unless they are invited into your life.
So our boy Brian stepped on the pedal and hightailed out of there.
So what was the straw that broke the camel's back where he just said, like, was it just when they said we can't come in unless we're invited in?
So when he saw their eyes, that's when he's like, something's going on here. Like these kids aren't human.
Yeah, okay.
Basically.
I gotcha.
And then when they said that next statement, that kind of just, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
It was kind of like the flight or fight response. And of course he went with flight.
Yeah. Which I don't think you can go wrong with flight.
Yeah.
In 99% of cases, Grizzly bear, maybe.
But I mean, a 12-year-old kid. But then you see the black eyes. That changes it, I think, from flight. Because, I mean, how hard would it be to, knock out a 12-year-old kid?
True, but especially if this 12-year-old kid doesn't have a gun because he told you he didn't have a gun.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't lie about that.
Yeah. But he's 12. It's a squirt gun, probably.
Yeah. Pew, pew. No, yeah. Yeah, so I could see, but I don't know. So the eyes must really, really freak you out.
We're going to get into the eyes there, buddy.
Yeah. Freaking
so
lizard people.
After he left that area of the parking lot, hightailed home, he looked in his rearview mirror as he sped off and noticed that the boys vanished and were nowhere to be found.
They're just gone.
Gone.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the roof. Okay.
So.
And that's that.
That's that. That's like the first kind of story that really, I guess, brought like mainstream popularity to the Black Eyed Kids. That was kind of like the start of it, I guess.
So where was his story released to? Like, how did people...
I got that right here.
Okay.
Ready? So he meant to keep this experience private, and he shared it with several friends over email. So he wanted to keep this private. So like he had a couple friends, in his circle that he talked to. He sent out an email to these friends.
So obviously he got his dial-up paid for.
Yeah.
If he's sending those emails.
He must have just had to pay the late fee or something. I don't know. So then someone leaked the story on the internet, and then this led to then Brian. He started sharing his experience with the world and he's had many interviews where he's told his story.
So how many friends did he email this to?
I'm not sure.
The fact that it was just the way that was worded, it was leaked to the internet. It's like, well, how many people did you tell?
I guess really, it could have been just a couple, and just one of them was just an a-hole and was like, oh, this is a big story, I'm gonna get this out there, and then he just shared it with some I don't know, back in 1998, I don't even know, Yahoo, AOL. You know
AOL,
what I mean?
Yeah. You've got mail.
Yeah. So I don't know how it's just started spreading, but
it's interesting.
Yeah. So then this caused many others to start coming out with their stories and encounters involving the Black Eyed Kids. I personally attempted to get Brian on the podcast, but he never answered me. Maybe someday, Brian. So.
Well, he probably just stopped paying his dial-up. One or two missed the payments there.
Yeah, just got blacklisted.
Yeah.
On the internet.
Black-eyed listed.
Black-eyed listed, yeah. Yeah, so Brian, you'll probably never hear this, but we would love to hear your thoughts. I mean, I'm sure you've talked about this hundreds of times, and you don't feel like talking about it anymore, but you can help us out.
Do you find any YouTube videos of him talking about it, like interviews?
I listened to one podcast. I can't remember the name of it, but he was a guest on the podcast.
Oh, okay,
and
cool.
Went into pretty good depths or details about his experiences and kind of what he thinks it is and stuff like that. It was a good episode.
So is he actively pursued these things, or is this just a one and done for him?
I know that he's had some other experiences with paranormal beings or had some other episodes with things, but this is the only encounter he had with the Black Eyed Kids. It's always
because I always find, all right, so from the skeptical standpoint of this, I always think my radar always goes up a little bit when it's somebody that's already into the paranormal or like, because he's not out there looking for this.
No.
So the fact that he's like already like super had all these other experiences, and then the black-eyed kids just randomly came up to his car. That's weird. But I mean, I'm not trying to say that it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I just think there's a lot of the cases. It seems like people are looking for these things. So in looking for these things, they maybe see it where I don't know other people wouldn't see it. If that makes sense.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people out here that think he made this up.
Yeah.
You know,
Of course.
You're always going to have that.
Yeah, because it's basically his word versus nobody's. Essentially, you know? Yeah. Nobody else was there except for these two kids who disappeared, so who knows? Yeah.
But, I mean, at least from what I've seen, like, he's a very, like, respectable reporter in this area of Abilene, Texas. So
he's like a newspaper reporter, or
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's many stories out there on Reddit and all over the internet of these Becks. I'm just gonna start saying Becks. So you got it in your brain.
Yeah, it took me a second. You said Becks, and it's just like, oh boy, is this like a secret? Is this like the car you drive when you find the black-eyed kids?
So they all share. So all the stories share many similarities as far as the behaviors of the kids and their appearance, demeanor. I'm gonna go over some. I think 2 more stories in this episode. The next one I'm gonna go over like right now, I think is honestly like the best one.
So after the first episode, all we really know about these kids is they're between the ages of 9 and 12.
Like 9 and 15, 9 and 16.
Dark-skinned, light-skinned, and they wore a hoodie and had black eyes.
Yeah.
Like they had a hoodie that was cast over their face.
Yeah.
Which, when I think of a hoodie cast over the face, I feel like it'd be hard to see the eyes.
Yeah.
Too. So.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, would make sense if they were trying to hide their eyes.
Yeah.
But also, it's like, how'd you see their eyes so well, you know?
Yeah.
And they do not carry guns.
No.
So.
And they're just kids.
They're just kids. Yep.
Yeah.
No flamethrowers, hand grenades, RPGs, switchblades, brass knuckles, none of that.
Nope.
No dipsy do's, dipsy don'ts, none of that.
None of that.
None of that. And they'll let you know that so you feel more comfortable.
Just their black eyes.
It's their black eyes. And their red hair.
Their olive skin.
Yeah. Olive skin.
So the next story here that I'm going to go over, like I said, I think this next story is, out of the 3 I'm going to go over today, I would say this is my like favorite.
Favorite. Okay, cool.
And it ends with some devastation.
Whoa. Well.
So.
Yeah, just try and keep it. Trying to keep it PG.
I'll keep it PG.
I get scared, you know.
I ain't taking my pants off.
I get scared. Why? Why'd you go there? That is not... Okay. Go ahead.
All right. And this story here, I heard about from listening to the last podcast on the left on their episode of the Black-Eyed Kids.
Yeah, which is if you haven't checked out their podcast and you do not mind just total profanity, and I mean there's absolutely no rules on that cast.
Like if you're listening to ours and you haven't listened to theirs, you should probably just turn ours off and go turn theirs on.
Yeah, but keep listening to us. We're getting there.
Yeah,
we're gonna get there.
Yeah,
but yeah, they are just it's profanity laced, but it is funny.
It is. All right, so buckle up. So around the same time as Brian Bethel's story, so sometime late 90s, there was another run-in with the Black-Eyed Kids that occurred in Portland, Oregon. A fella named John Northwood was attending a conference that lasted the entire day and ended around 11 o'clock at night. He just got into his car on the 3rd level parking garage when he heard a tapping at his window. Mike, do you have any guesses of who the person was tapping or people tapping on his window?
Yeah, so we're in Portland, Oregon, so there is really, I mean, early 90s, but I don't know if meth was as big back then as it is now, but I would figure it's a homeless person that is probably just super effed up on something, just tapping on the window, either asking for change or a light.
You know, and I knew you weren't going to say black-eyed kids because I knew you were going to go with something crazy.
Well, it wasn't crazy. We're in Portland.
You're right.
There's homeless everywhere there.
Sorry, not something crazy. Something like more
logical,
sophisticated.
Yeah, sophisticated. Okay, I see what you're doing though.
No, it was Doug.
D-U-G or D-O-U-G?
D-O-U-G.
Oh, okay.
It was Doug from the conference.
Oh.
So John rolled down his window when Doug told him that there were some kids, 2 boys and a girl, that Doug described as, quote, weird, freaky, gothomatic, and scary as shit.
Okay. Well, can you imagine just like I run over and it's like I knock on your window and you roll it down. It's like, there's some freaks over here. Freaky kids, man. They're just weird.
They're scary as shit.
Yeah. Stay in your car and keep your windows up. It's like, well, why'd you knock on them then, you weirdo? Yeah. Get out of here, D-U-G, Doug. We're taking the O out right out of your name.
Yeah.
You're now the past tense of dig.
So Doug reported that the kids were around 10 to 15 years old. Apparently, one of the kids asked Doug for a ride, which he denied or declined. And just like the other reports, the kids would not leave him alone. So Doug asked if he could get in John's car and maybe drive around the parking lot until the kids left.
What?
So, like, he was this freaked out by the kids that, like...
It's like, dude, just get in your car and leave, Doug. You're a grown man.
Yeah,
you're a grown man.
You're a grown-ass man. Just get in
Golly.
there. So, at this point, John wanted to see what these kids looked like.
J-O-N. No H.
Yeah, no H. So, he wanted to see what these kids looked like.
What? Well, yeah, wouldn't you? Like,
if
you came over to me and were just like, we got to get out of here. There's 12-year-olds, and it's like, I got to go see what these 12-year-olds look like. Because I got to see how big of a sissy you actually are.
So he drove over by Doug's car to take a look at these little shits.
Whoa.
The kids then came to John's car and directly addressed Doug.
Yo, D-U-G! What's good, homie?
Where the youngest said, quote, it's scary out there all alone. We just wanted a ride home. Followed by the oldest kid saying, you promised you'd help us. And at this point, Doug starts getting... So at this point, Doug decides to get out of the car.
Yeah.
So wait,
hold on a sec. My golly, I did promise you fellers a ride home. I'm so sorry. I forgot all about that.
So Doug starts getting out of John's car and notices that the kids looked much older than they appeared before, with their eyes turning completely black. So they kind of, the way I kind of pictured it was like they, I guess, I don't know if you want to say shape-shifted or evolved or something.
Yeah.
They turned into like older kids then than they were originally.
or is it like they're in this world and they only have so much time in this world because they're just going to progressively start aging faster and faster.
Yeah, maybe.
Or breaking down in some kind of way. Yeah.
Yeah.
Freaking D-U-G.
So then John reports that he nearly pissed himself when he saw the kid's eyes.
I'm telling you what, the shit was dripping down my leg.
Yeah. As soon as I saw them, their eyes. Yeah. Doug immediately got back into John's car.
There's no way that Doug is not part of some kind of human trafficking ring, and that's what this is all about. I'm dead set on that.
So Doug immediately gets back into John's car.
Why did he get out? What did you get out for, Doug? Oh, man.
And the two quickly drove down to the bottom of the park. So remember, they were on the third level of the parking garage. So Doug gets back into John's car. They freaking hightail it, trying to get out of this parking garage.
Yeah.
So they quickly drove down to the bottom of the parking garage and left. The BKs, the Becks, began chasing them as they peeled away.
I thought that was Burger King, would be honest with you. When you said BK, like, you said BK, and all I could think is, have it your way. You rule! Sorry.
John felt that he was actually, like, inside he felt like he was going to die when this was going on.
So is this just from looking in their eyes, or just being
Yeah, just looking into their eyes just causes, like a
paralysis, like Mothman's, like Mothman
reaction,
kind of, with his red eyes.
When they got to the exit of the parking garage on the first level, the Becks were waiting for them at the bottom.
So they beat them down there.
They beat them down there.
Yeah.
So John and Doug drove past them out the exit and turned around and looked, and the Becks were gone.
I thought for sure you were just going to be like, John and Doug are just, man, these children are persistent. We might as well just give them a ride now.
I thought you were thinking like they just mowed them over.
Yeah, well, that'd be a good idea, too. Yeah.
So after 10 minutes or so, and I just pictured them just driving around the block.
Yeah, of
for
course.
like 10 minutes or so.
You're not going to stop driving. There's no way.
So after 10 minutes or so, the two drove back to the garage so that John could take Doug up to get his car.
Yeah, I think I'd give it more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, I think I would wait till like the next day.
Yeah, like the next morning. Yeah, I think so. It's like you can come hang out in my. Doug, I met you and I've known you for 6 hours. We're rooming together tonight. It's going to be like planes, trains, and automobiles, buddy. Let's go.
So Doug decided it was safe and got into his car to drive home. John agreed to follow him home to ensure that he made it home safe.
So they live in this area.
Yeah, they're like, I don't know how far they're. I think within probably 20 minutes or so.
Okay.
From where the conference was.
Okay.
Is the way that I took it.
Gotcha.
So while John was following Doug home, John just got a feeling inside that something bad was going to happen. Like he just, something just didn't feel right.
I get that too. It's typically after I have like 15 beers the night before and I wake up and after that coffee hits my belly, I get that feeling, John. Jon.
So it was at that moment that Doug misjudged a yellow light and was T-boned by a speeding truck that hit his car and killed him instantly.
Doug's dead.
Doug's dead.
Damn. You should have told me that before I made fun of Doug.
Well, I gave you the clue that it ended with devastation.
Devastation? I thought he got divorced or something. I didn't think it was Doug getting T-boned and decapitated and his scrotum got ripped off and thrown into the alley.
He's dead now and you're talking about his scrotum.
I'm just saying. That's what you said.
So, as John was completing his report to the police about what happened, he noticed the BEKs, the Becks, standing in the distance.
The same ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. John never saw the Becks again after this.
Weird. I guess I don't really know what to even think of that.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know. It's freaking weird, though.
It's like part of me thinks of like Final Destination.
Yeah.
Like these people.
You can't escape death.
You can't escape it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were there to make sure that it happened. Beer run. It's beer break time. Crack a cold one, fill your cup, and enjoy the rest of the episode.
So that's crazy, though. Doug's dead.
Doug's dead.
John's just there. So, man, but what, are these, feeders? They feed off death? Do they need souls? What do these kids need? I don't know what to take of this whole story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just crazy. And you combine it with the first story, I feel like I know just as much, maybe 5% more about these kids than I did before I started this cast.
Yeah.
What the hell do they want?
Yeah.
What are they here for? So they have to be let in intentionally. So to me, that says demon. Just from what we've talked about in other stories, it seems like demons need to be let in. Even with Bloody Mary, you invite her into your house with the mirror. The dolls, you invite them in and they get stronger. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So are these things demonic? I mean, I know you have your theories.
That's one of the theories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, after Doug just got hit by a car, it's hard to say that's not maybe the theory.
Truck.
By a truck. Either way, Doug's dead. DUG's
Yeah.
dead. Done. All right. I guess that really took the spirit out of me, Corey. Real nice story you brought here. Like, my gosh, I thought Doug was going to get home and give his wife flowers, but apparently not. So now my friend Doug's gone. He ain't coming back.
Doug.
That's nice. I like that.
The Hangover.
The Hangover. Oh, yeah. It says here we should work in teams. I get it. So we kind of have these kids that are just apparently stalking businessmen at conferences. Besides the black eyes of these children, I mean, I guess I shouldn't say besides the black eyes, but what are the characteristics of these things? I know the eyes are obviously the main part because it's their name.
Yep. So the eyes are obviously the most defining characteristics of the Becks, which are just completely black. Like every piece of the eye is just black.
And isn't it to me, and this might come across as just super random, but you think of what like your most vulnerable part of your body is. I mean, besides your nuts for us. Like they're vulnerable. Your eyeballs are pretty much like one of your most vulnerable parts. And that's kind of like where they draw you in a way.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of it's interesting.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine if it was like the other way, like they draw you in with like your nuts.
Yeah, with their balls. Like they're
like magnetic and they just
zip them up in their zipper, so there's just two little danglers hanging out in their zipper.
and they're magnetic and they draw yours to them.
And then here's the thing: if you come to my car and you're like, "Mister, I zip my balls up," like not to be weird, but I do feel an obligation to do something to help you, little buddy, because that ain't. I'm going to drop you off at the hospital or something.
911.
Yeah,
you can't like.
Well, yeah, I'm not going to get in there, but there's going to be some obligation that I need to help the little buddy.
You don't want to get put on a Megan's Law or anything.
No, not again. One's enough.
You're on it for life, so
yeah.
what's it matter?
One's enough for me. Trust me. Well, that was back when I was Ricky Newborn. I got put on Megan's Law, but now that I'm Crack Daddy Mike, I'm perfectly
fine. You
fine.
got a new identity
yeah,
now.
I'm
You're
perfectly
good.
fine.
Yeah, you moved to Mexico and started a new life.
See, no English.
So, with their eyes being like their most defining characteristic, there's no visible sclera or the white outer covering of the eye.
Just say that word again for me.
Sclera.
I just like hearing the way it rolls off your tongue.
Yeah. Sclera.
Sclera. Hey, did you meet my friend? Sclera.
Sclera, not Cara.
Not Cara, not Sierra.
It's sclera.
That's right.
All right. This is going to take like 3 hours.
That's because you got 38 pages.
All right.
And I can't stop talking.
So there's no visible sclera or the white outer covering of the eye. Iris, which is the colored part of the eye that surrounds the pupil. And then obviously the pupil is also black.
And some people's poop hole's brown.
But the black-eyed kids are black.
They're black.
Yeah.
It's weird.
So this feature often causes a profound sense of unease in those who encounter them. And like to me, like let's just think about the eyes for a second. Because unless you're sitting down thinking about it, I don't think we realize how much like we use our eyes or we look at other people's eyes for like communication.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like
yeah, like I've been winking at you all night.
Yeah. And I've been closing my eyes so I don't have to see your ugly mug.
I don't see
so I don't have to see your ugly mug.
But you can't keep them closed forever.
Yeah. Yeah. But no, like we use our eyes every day to communicate with people.
Yeah.
And when you're looking at these things and just see complete just darkness.
It doesn't even seem like it's just darkness. Like it is like a black that can't be just, even like
it's like a black hole.
Like yeah, it's like void of everything.
There's nothing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then going into more of their physical appearance, a lot of times their skin, they have a pale, sometimes gray or ghostly skin. It could be unnaturally light or appear sickly looking. Clothing, They're often described as wearing outdated or ill-fitting clothing such as hooded sweatshirts or long coats. Their attire sometimes seems out of place or out of sync with contemporary fashion. So some reports I've seen, it's like they're wearing, clothes from like the 1800s or like early 1900s, like outdated clothes.
It reminds me a little bit of the Men in Black.
Ha!
Uh-huh.
There's a tie to them and the Black Eyed Kids.
Yeah, like when you were saying, like when the first story kind of talked about the way these kids talked, like my mind just right away went to the Men in Black of like these people knowing how to like communicate, but just like they don't really know how to communicate, I should say. They just know what they should be saying. Like they know the things that are. Do you ever talk to like or see the conversations online where people are talking to AI bots? But they know it's like an AI bot, so they kind of like mess with it a little bit.
Yeah,
it's somebody trying to be a human.
Yeah,
that's what it like reminds me of. Like they're programmed to say certain things, but if you just kind of hit them with something off the wall, it's like their brain does not know how to answer it. Pretty much. Yeah.
We're gonna get into some of that. So I'm glad you brought that up. So again, the age, typically they're reported as being children or adolescents, typically between the ages of 9 and 15, 9 and 16 years old.
Which would make sense because I feel like that would give. You're going to let a kid that age approach you.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're not going to let somebody like me maybe approach you.
I'm definitely getting my gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to shove it right up your butt.
And pull the trigger.
No, Corey, I'm not going to do that to you.
I'm saying if I didn't know you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, right up your butt.
My Glock is going up there.
Right up your whole butt. You're going to be spitting out bullets.
Glock and around the clock.
Yeah, that's right.
And then also, there's been a lot of reports indicate that there's a smell that comes with the BEKs.
Smell?
A smell, yeah.
Okay.
So many reports indicate that people who experience the Becks will say that there's often a smell like rotten eggs or decaying meat.
Yeah, that is. I remember. What was I? When I was. Oh, I know what it was. It was one of the. It was like a paranormal case that I was reading, and that's what they would typically they would smell that, and that was when like demonic activity was happening.
Yeah.
It would always be accompanied by the sulfur smell, or like just like disgusting decaying meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just like filthy garbage. Just like grossness.
Yeah.
Yep. So now we're going to get into some of the behavior and interactions that the BEKs have with just people in general. So in most reports, pretty much every report that I've seen, every story I've seen, there's some type of request for entry. So Becks frequently approach people and request entry into their homes or vehicles, and they often claim they need help or are trying to reach their parents. That's like the number one theme in every story.
Which would be the number one thing that I think somebody would open their door to a child. If like, if a kid comes up to me and says they need help with to find their mom, I'm going to help them find their mom.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
So they're just preying on like the vulnerability of children to be able to get where they want to be.
Yeah.
Interesting.
No, absolutely. A lot of times there's urgency and politeness, so their requests are typically accompanied by a sense of urgency or desperation. Despite their polite and seemingly innocent demeanor, there is often a subtle pressure or insistence that feels unsettling.
Like that car salesman-y. That's what I think.
Yeah. Like it seems like at first, the first like statement they make, like, can you please help me help me, contact my parents or whatever. It seems like the first statement they make about that is like, I don't know, it's like normal.
Yeah,
I guess.
But then there's just a growing urgency that they need
it escalates into like,
it.
Wow, this is freaking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, no, get away from me, you freak.
Yeah. They often exhibit like an unnatural calmness. So Becks tend to exhibit unnatural calmness or composure, even in stressful or eerie situations. It's 1:00 in the morning, and these cats are knocking on your door.
Yeah.
And they're just perfectly calm and like polite and like
because they lost their mom or something like that. Yeah.
Mister, can I use your phone to call my mom?
Yeah, it's odd.
Like, it's freaking 1:00. I just woke up to take a piss.
Yeah.
And I heard somebody knocking on my door.
Yeah.
Like, you think they'd be a little more like distraught at that
For sure.
hour,
Yeah.
you know? So this calmness can contrast sharply with the fear or discomfort they evoke in others. Behavioral oddities. So encounters with BEKs often involve a sense of dread or a feeling that something is deeply wrong. They may exhibit behaviors that are described as unnatural or otherworldly.
So, like, in what way? Like, what are their...
It's just, like, the way like, their interactions are.
Okay.
Yeah, like the way.
Yeah,
their
it's just not like normal human.
It's not. Yeah, it's like they're trying to be normal.
Yeah.
But like, it's like they're trying too hard.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not.
Yeah, it's like they watched all 70 sitcom, and it's like, this is how I have to act.
This is how I have to act.
Yeah.
And like I said earlier, it's very robotic. So it seems like when they talk and interact with people, it's very robotic and it's almost like a script.
Yeah.
Is the way I look at it. Like, it's like they're programmed to talk like this certain way. And when they're questioned, they're unable to answer, or at least answer like logically to the question that was asked to them. So there's a lot of reports that I saw where people will question these kids, and then it's just kind of rebutted with like, you need to let me in, or like, they just completely don't even acknowledge the question that's being asked to them, and it's just they're just pushing to come in the house or come in the vehicle or whatever it is.
Because they're lizard people, I think.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. I guess I like that. I guess.
And there's one story of an encounter with Bex where the Beck was eating an apple. So I think he was on the porch eating an apple, knocking on the door. The person answered, and the Beck said, "Mister, do you have any ketchup that I can borrow for my apple?"
Yeah. Okay.
Like,
all right. Yeah.
Like, just
like, what do I do with that, kid? Get out of here.
Yeah.
And that does, I know said about the men, that just really reminds me of the Men in Black. I remember that story where they were at the reporter's like office, and as they're having a conversation, like the reporter's like writing with this pen, and it's like, what is that? What's that thing? And like it's like, do you want it?
Yeah. And
mid-conversation, he just picks it up and leaves. Because like he's so excited he got this pen, Yeah. It's just that's not normal.
So time of day. So the Beck sightings often occur during the evening or nighttime, and then the darkness adds to the eerie atmosphere and may contribute to the fear experienced during these encounters.
Well, and also the darkness is going to help hide if they do have other flaws.
Yeah.
It's going to help hide their face, hide their eyes a little bit, stuff like that.
And a lot of times, too, or a lot of things I've seen about, like, demons and stuff is, like, their fingers, their feet and stuff are all, like, disformed. And
where you come at night, maybe you get away with a little bit of it,
And at least wearing those clothes and stuff, too. Like, okay, like, in my mind, they're wearing, like, a hoodie. Do they have their hands in their pockets?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Two fingers, you know what I mean? Like, you don't know.
Their cloven hooves.
Yeah. And a lot of times it's the Beck encounters will happen happening in isolated or less populated areas, such as suburban neighborhoods, rural locations, or parking lots. And then these locations can heighten the feeling of vulnerability.
Yeah, that, and there's lack of witnesses then. Yeah. So if in the cases where, like with the first guy, where it doesn't happen, it's his word versus the world, essentially.
Exactly. And something too I wanted to touch on earlier about the eyes. It seems like they don't show their eyes right away either. It's like they like conversate for a while, and then all of a sudden they like reveal their eyes as like the final act to like freak you out.
So is it that their eyes are... Do you think their eyes are normal to start? and then they just like at the last minute they change into black, or do you think they're always black?
I think they're always black because
Okay.
I feel like if they were normal to start, I don't know. I feel like I don't know if their hoods wouldn't be like covering part of their face or what. Maybe they wouldn't be wearing the hoods. I don't know. I just feel like, yeah, I feel like their eyes are just black all the time.
Because I just think if your eyes, like I wouldn't notice your eyes at all unless there's something like effed up with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like your eyes would not stand out to me. Nothing about you would stand out to me
Yeah.
until I like see that they're all black.
Yeah.
You know?
So it seems like, they ask like their first question and stuff. If they don't get the answer they like or whatever happens, it kind of escalates, and then they're like, they just put up their face.
So
and
it's
like,
like
here's my freaking eyes, bitch.
Yeah, and does that ever work for them?
The last story I'm going to go over, they made it into a person's house.
Well, okay. Well, I already have so many questions for this person. I already have so many
Couple other things though about the black-eyed kids. A lot of times there's technological disruptions. So in some reported encounters, witnesses have experienced disruptions in electronic devices such as phones or radios when the Becks are present.
Interesting.
A lot of times their stories are inconsistent, so sometimes they provide, vague explanations, or their stories change as they're trying to, ask you for help, which can add to the sense of unease. I mean, if you're there trying to talk to, one of these Becks, and, at first they're like, can you help me? I need to call my mom or whatever. But then, like, as they're going over things with you, like, their story is changing, and it's freaking 2:00 in the morning. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just makes it a little more
Well, I think
uneasy.
Yeah, the red flags start to go up
Absolutely.
in your brain. I think it. So you get in a situation like that, they almost want to like rely on surprise.
Yeah.
So they surprise you at 2 a.m. Maybe you do just let them in the house at 2 a.m. because it's such a shock to you. But now all of a sudden, like, the longer you get them there and the more they're just hitting you with just this, like, off-the-wall stuff, all of a sudden, like, your red flags are starting to go up. You're starting to look at their clothes. You're starting to wonder who this person is. And then by that time, you lock eyes with them, and it's like...
And by that time, you wake up because you're already half asleep.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, for sure. So...
And then the final thing with the Becks is the disappearance part. So typically after the interaction, Becks sometimes just vanish quickly and without a trace, leaving the witness with a lingering sense of unease or confusion. Like, did that really just happen? Did I really just see that? Like, what the hell was that?
Did anybody check, are there sewer grates anywhere near there? Because lizard people will go right in the sewers, Corey. I'm telling you, I've seen it 48 times in my young life.
I don't know. That's something you have to bring up, I guess, to the Beck community.
I brought it up to you. You're my representation to
All
the
right,
Beck community.
I will bring it up.
Lizard people.
Lizard people.
Lizard.
That wasn't one of the theories I found. Maybe you solved it.
I told you I did in the first 3
right
seconds.
Right away.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we covered some of the physical characteristics of the black-eyed kids, now we're going to kind of talk about what happens after an encounter with these beings.
Doug dies.
Yeah, I mean, we got one death.
Yeah, D-U-G.
R.I.P.
It's O-U-T. Yeah, all right. I guess R.I.P. would be nicer.
Yeah. D-U-G. I mean, I guess they had to dig a hole.
Yeah. Yeah.
D-I-G.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Can you dig it, sucker?
So witnesses frequently experience intense fear, anxiety, paranoia after an encounter with the Becks. This lasting psychological trauma can lead to insomnia, nightmares, or severe anxiety disorders.
Well, yeah, I would think so. I would hope so, I guess,
Yeah. Some of the physical symptoms that people experience, they often report feeling ill or weakened following an encounter. Symptoms can range from headaches, nausea, to unexplained fatigue or dizziness. In extreme cases, these symptoms are said to be persistent and debilitating.
Debilitating.
Yeah, I had to look at that word for a while before I said it.
I saw. Hey, no judgment from me.
Yeah.
I write in crayon.
There's also a pattern in the stories of people experiencing a series of misfortunes or strange events after an encounter. This can include accidents, financial troubles, or personal relationships deteriorating just suddenly.
So always negative things.
Always
after.
negative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because with the way that was worded, it's just like, oh, maybe they like have a good scratcher.
Yeah.
They win like a couple grand, you know?
I saw this one story earlier. I don't remember the exact specifics around it, but like this lady, like within a week, like lost her job, got divorced, and like a couple other things within a week after having an encounter with the Becks.
Yeah. Sounds a lot like old Robert down in Florida, you know?
I guess nobody's writing Beck's letters. Maybe they need to start sending some.
Maybe that's the issue. All you have to do is drop it in your sewer grate because these are lizard people.
So strange health issues. So in more extreme accounts, individuals have reported sudden, unexplained health issues that seem to have no medical basis. This could include sudden onset of chronic conditions or severe unexplained ailments.
Yeah, this is like that guy that's drank bacon grease his whole life and eaten nothing but triple bacon cheeseburgers from Wendy's for 2 meals a day for the past 30 years, and all of a sudden he just has a heart attack, and it's like, damn black-eyed children got me again.
But this is like somebody that didn't do any of that.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
And then just
yeah.
Yeah. And then obviously the last one here is death. So,
well, jeez.
R.I.P. Doug.
Say no more.
R.I.P. Doug.
Yeah.
Though rare, some stories link encounters with black-eyed kids to unexplained deaths or death. Why did I pick up a slur tonight? There's been a couple times I've been slurring my S's.
Yeah, I don't know. It could be the perpetual and the third IPA you're on right now. It could have something to do with it.
I think it's the black-eyed kids.
Yeah, for sure. That's what it is. It's not that triple bacon cheeseburger you had for lunch.
Yeah. I had 2 of them, actually. So some stories link encounters with black-eyed kids to unexplained deaths or disappearances. The reports are usually vague and lack concrete evidence, but they add to the eerie mystique surrounding these entities.
Yeah, so you have a disappearance. How do we know that disappearance has anything to do?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
you don't
just
know.
like super hypothetical, I guess.
Yeah.
We got some more. We got some more stories.
Yeah, the next one I'm going to go over here is it's another story that I believe Brian Bethel
Cracking cans cast,
baby. Brian Bethel. So that was the first story I went over at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Who was kind of like the granddaddy of the Becks.
The godfather of the Becks, some would say. Others would say he's just a fellow that was outside the movie theater, maybe yanking his crank a little too hard, if you know what I'm saying, because who else hangs out outside a movie theater and just lets a couple of 12-year-olds approach his car? He was filling out checks. Like he didn't know how much his check was before he got to this movie theater. Just saying. Anywho, sorry.
Yeah.
Like once I started, I couldn't stop.
Brian, I'm trying to get you on the cast. Don't listen to
any. Dude,
don't listen
so
to
bad.
Don't listen to any of that.
Oh man.
You're still welcome.
Yeah.
Screw him.
I don't even have to be here if you come. I'm just saying. I'm perfectly fine. I guess just sitting at home and I'll just edit it when we're all done. But just know that I'm going to make at least 2 jokes when I'm editing about you yanking your crank, if you know what I mean, bud.
So this is another story that Brian Bethel shared involving an elderly couple.
So people reach out to him after all this?
Yeah.
Like with their
he has
stories?
like a whole
like community
that people email him about their experiences and stuff, and like he connects with them and stuff like that.
Well, that's what you should have did. You should have said they came to our cast one night.
Yeah, the garage door just opened.
Yeah,
or we hear some knocks at the garage door of the studio.
Dude, could you imagine if that actually happened?
Dude, I would shit my pants.
Well, I have been all night, so I'd probably do something different.
Yeah, you're out of shit.
I'd become instantly constipated for like 3 days.
Your eyes would turn black because your shit's coming out of your eyes.
It's like, oh my gosh, it's got him.
Yeah. Oh my God, Mike, black-eyed Mike. No, he just has to poop.
Yeah. Oh, nope, sorry, just a fart crossed ways, my friend.
Yeah, you fart and it's go back to normal.
Yeah. It's like a good 3-minute long one. Like, oh,
it's slowly just going back to normal. Okay, they're still brown.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So this is an article out of the Business Standard, tbsnews.net, titled Legend of the Black-Eyed Children, written by Mariah Mosen.
Oh, she sounds hot.
So this is her story. I'm just reading to you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just perving it out over
Yeah.
here.
So in the snowy town within the middle of nowhere of Vermont, an elderly couple heard the sound of 3 loud knocks on their door.
It had to be Champ. Sorry. As soon as I heard Vermont, it's like, it's got to be.
Yeah.
Where's this at? It didn't say in Vermont. It just said Vermont.
Middle of nowhere, Vermont.
Oh, I haven't been to that town, I don't think.
Yeah.
Been to Burlington, though. And Woodstock, Vermont.
I think I drove through
But not middle,
some of it. But
not
anyway.
middle of nowhere, Vermont.
An elderly couple heard the sound of 3 knocks on their door. They opened the door and saw 2 children, a boy and a girl.
What?
You're
Children.
because your taps on the glass really just like
I'm knocking. I'm trying to build
it was more
up.
like this.
All right. Fair enough.
Parents will be here soon. May we come in? Is what they said.
So they didn't say our parents will be here soon.
No, parents will be here soon.
So
May we come in?
So like parents are the feeders. You know what I mean? Like the kids got to go get food for parents.
Maybe. So the children did not make any eye contact and just stood there in the doorway. The elderly couple were hesitant, but after a while, they let the boy and girl inside.
You know, back in our day, back in the 50s, you didn't even lock your door
I was
at
gonna
night.
say.
If them there little boys needed a place to stay, they'd be welcome to come right in my living room and lay on my couch and help themselves to my mac and cheese that I made every Wednesday night for my husband, or else he'd chokeslam me.
And if they got done with that, they could eat some collard greens.
That's right. We're in Vermont. We are
yeah,
I am
we're
not doing justice for what Vermont is.
I don't know what they eat up there.
Yeah. Bernie Sanders back hair. I don't know.
So the elderly couple was hesitant, but after a while, they let the boy and girl inside. So now these kids are inside the house. The kids settled on the couch while the wife made some hot cocoa. And the husband asked them questions that went unanswered.
You boys like moose meat? You boys ever go skiing? You boys want a Marlboro? I guess it's a boy and girl, so I should be doing both. But that voice got me, though.
But they were probably wearing hoodies, so he probably didn't know.
Yeah, true. And he's old.
Yeah, so
Old timer.
he didn't have his glasses in. Or his teeth, so he probably couldn't talk,
That's
just
right.
gumming it.
Back in my day, boys, we used to go up in the pine fields, and we'd have to plant those pines by hand for the paper mill.
So the kids settled on the couch while the wife made some hot cocoa. And the husband asked them questions that went unanswered. No more questions. The wife returned and noticed that her cat was scared and angry with the children.
Dude, I thought for sure they were just going to be gnawing on the cat. Like, just like...
Like a chicken leg.
Yeah, or just like an ear of corn. Just...
And then one of the kids said, "May we please use the restroom?"
Well, that's polite.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
So the wife looked at the kids and she finally... So that at this point, one of the kids asked to use the restroom, and the wife looked at the kids, and then she saw... The children's eyes were as black as a starless universe.
That is a good description.
That was a good job, Maria Mosen.
That is awesome.
Yeah. Were as black as a starless universe. She directed them to the bathroom and returned to her husband, who was covering his face with his hand.
They poked him in the eye.
He was scared.
He said, there's something wrong with these kids.
Did you see their eyes?
Did you see their eyes?
The husband then shows... You need another smoke?
them cowboy killers got me.
The husband then shows her his hand full of blood from a nosebleed.
Honey, my nose been bleeding, and it ain't bleeded since World War I.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Oh!
Okay. My papers are messed up.
You only have 95 of them.
So at this point, the power in the house suddenly went out, and the house turned as dark as the kids' eyes. The wife headed to the restroom and was confronted by the voices of the kids at the end of the hall, uttering, "Our parents are here."
Oh, that's freaking scary, dude.
So it's like pitch black.
Yeah. Mom and Dad are here, and they're hungry.
The kids then just exited the house.
Yeah. All right, goodbye.
Leaving the door wide open. The wife then noticed that there were two men at the end of the driveway wearing a black suit.
Oh, yeah. There they are. This has got to be the freaking twins, man.
They were very tall and slender. The wife waved but did not receive the same friendly gesture.
And you know what? That would make me mad. You know, I come out on their porch and be like, listen up here, dude.
Yeah. I made these little shits some hot cocoa.
And all they did was cut my power and poop on my toilet seat.
Yeah.
Because you know they did. There's not a doubt in my mind there was feces all over that bathroom.
Yeah, they didn't use any toilet paper.
No way.
No. So the two men and children then drove away together in one car. The power then came back on a little after the kids left. Throughout the next week, weird things happened in the house. 3 of the 4 cats went missing, and the 4th cat was found dead in a pool of its blood in the house. The husband continued to have nosebleeds and finally went to the doctor, where he was diagnosed with a very aggressive and rare form of skin cancer.
So weird. So that, yeah. That's... Is it like a test for the Men in Black to see, like, I don't know. Are these black-eyed children, like, testing for the Men in Black to figure out how to get in people's houses to get information better?
Or they are like the Men in Black, the kids of the Men in Black, and then they grow up to be like the Men in Black adults.
Yeah, they could be, because I know
know.
a lot of the Men in Black, they wear, like, sunglasses and stuff, too. So are they covering up their black eyes? I don't know. It's weird.
I don't know.
That was a good story, though. I like that one. That one
Yeah.
freaked me out.
Yeah. Especially like when the power goes out.
Yeah, especially when that guy asked them if they wanted a Marlboro. Mm-hmm. So basically we have these stories. What are the theories as to what in the hell these things are?
So like I said,
Besides, well, I mean, they're lizard people, but what are the non-true theories?
I don't have lizard people on my list, so that's like one that we'll have to add.
Yeah, it's lizard people. Folks, crackheads.
Crackheads. Yeah. Are crackheads just lizard people?
No, politicians are lizard people. Yeah. Sideways blinking, and you see like Hillary Clinton's eyes go sideways.
Yeah.
Like, I gotcha. On Epstein, I gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry.
he didn't hang himself.
We all know that.
Yeah. But anyways, some of the theories that I'm going to talk about here, Crack Daddy Dick over here, already mentioned in this episode, but that's okay.
And folks, that's what happens when you listen to previous casts. Okay? You go through episode 1 through 8, you'll start figuring some stuff out before we get there.
A lot of them do tie together, like
they do.
Incadent.
Whoa, what kind of word are you trying to say right now? I'm going to hear it. Incondentionally? Is that what you just told me? Incondentionally?
I don't know. College education right here.
Oh man, my stupid blue collar brain just can't figure it out.
Just go ahead and edit that.
No way. That ain't happening. I assure you that is not happening.
So the first theory is that these black-eyed kids are paranormal entities. So many believe the Becks are supernatural beings such as demons. I know you love your demons.
Yeah, they seem like demons, especially when they said about the stinky egg sulfur smell and the rotting meat. That seems very demon-esque.
Yeah. So demons, spirits that manifest as children to evoke sympathy and lower defenses of the living. And
just feed off of the bullcrap that happens when they leave.
Yeah. So like their black eyes are often seen as a sign of their malevolent nature.
Mm-hmm.
The next theory is that they are extraterrestrial beings. So some theorize that Becks could be aliens or hybrids, half alien, half human.
That'd be something.
So their eerie appearance and unusual behavior are thought to align with descriptions of alien encounters or abduction scenarios.
That would maybe answer why they have that like roboticness to their talking.
Yeah.
Like they just like studied random TV shows on how to like be human, you know?
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah. The other one is government experiments.
Now the government would never do something like that to us.
No.
I'm hoping if I say that they'll just like lower my taxes this year.
Yeah.
But that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So in a twist on the Men in Black theory that we talked about throughout this episode that you brought up, I was kind of saving it as like a surprise for you. But
Dude, you're not going to catch me like that.
Know. Some suggest Becks could be the result of secret government experiments or advanced technology, possibly involving genetic manipulation or mind control.
That's like, I feel like a lot of these, like what they could just be entire episodes.
Yeah,
in themselves, you know.
They really could, yeah. Psychological phenomena. So another theory is that Becks are a manifestation of psychological fears or anxieties. So they might represent societal fears of the unknown or be a form of collective anxiety about children's safety or trust.
So if they knock on my door, there's just going to be big spiders. Because that's what freaks me out. That's how they're getting psychological warfare on me, just big nasty spiders.
I kind of like spiders.
Yeah, well.
I usually let them in my house and like I name them.
That's cool. I smush them up and then I push them down the drain. And sometimes I just put them in the toilet and flush them when they're alive. So
like Kendra and I had one named Herbert.
That's cool.
In the basement for a while.
You better hope I don't see Herbert when I'm over here.
I mean, I haven't seen him in a while.
Yeah, that's because I probably did see him one day. Just saying.
Herbert!
Yeah.
No!
Here, let me check the bottom of my crock.
God damn it, Herbert! He was a good guy.
Yeah. No spiders are.
Right, well, R.I.P. Herbert.
Yeah. I'm not R.I.P. into that.
Oh, well. Another one is that multiverse or alternate reality beings. So a more speculative theory suggests that Becks might be beings from a parallel universe or an alternate reality accidentally crossing into our world and manifesting in unsettling ways.
I'm just not seeing why.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
why? Oh, okay. Then why?
I like the next one.
Why they killed Doug?
Next one.
Let's hear
really
the next
like.
one.
Vampires.
Vampires? Yeah, that would make sense. Why they
like,
can't? They have to be invited
exactly,
into places.
Like, I could get behind this one.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of stories with vampires is they need to be invited in.
But I really think at the end of the day, what is a vampire but just a demon? I think vampires and demons pretty much just go hand in hand in a weird way.
I don't know.
I feel like all vampires are demons, but not all demons are vampires. No, because they just line up with like so many like demonic things. You know, they need to drink blood. So by drinking blood, you're like inflicting pain onto somebody. They need to be brought into houses. They don't like crosses or holy water. There's just so many things that are like.
I feel like vampires though. Like I feel like, I don't know. I feel like demons and vampires are different.
How so though?
I'm trying to think how in my mind, I just feel like they're different.
That's cool. That's cool. You're wrong, but that's cool. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know. I have to think about that.
Yeah.
And then the other one is just that they're practitioners of evil magic.
Also, can I throw this other thing out there? Like, kids are freaking weird, man, and kids just like to do weird pranks. I also think it can be something like that.
But that's something, too, that a lot of people bring up. But, like, back in, like, 1996, like, buying, like, contact lenses or, you know, like the all black, whatever, that cover your eyes, like, going to cost a lot of money compared to, like, today.
Yeah, they could have just been wearing, like, those little ones from the tanning bed, those little circle ones, just wearing them, like, because you know how kids wear weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, look at me, I'm so cool.
Yeah.
Be like, I can see that.
Yeah. But, I mean, a lot of people say that Becks are just myths that were created at the start of the internet and blown up as it evolved over time. Because, 1996 is when Brian Bethel's experience happened, but then I think was like 1998 is like when it started becoming known to like, the world.
Once it became mainstream on the internet where people could kind of see it.
So then that was, and actually like the Becks are like the first urban legend that is kind of credited for like exploding or like blowing up on the internet.
Yeah,
it's like one of the first.
It's like the Slenderman is one that like blew up on the internet. So this is like the first one that blew up like that.
Yeah,
interesting.
Exactly.
So, how have we seen that transition into movies and pop culture and things like that?
Yeah, so I think that the Becks have had a notable impact on modern culture and media, appearing in various forms, movies. So there's actually a film called The Black-Eyed Kids that came out in 2012, which I haven't seen, but I kind of want to look into it. And there was also one in 2016 called The Beck, the BEK.
Okay.
Where they're portrayed as eerie, malevolent entities, and these films often amplify the mythos around Becks, exploring their unsettling nature. So that's one that I wanted to look into.
Interesting. Yeah, never heard of either one of them.
TV shows, so Becks, they've been referenced in TV series such as The X-Files, Supernatural.
Hell yeah, X-Files, man.
You watch that?
Yeah, with Scully and...
I never watched it, so...
I don't know, I've seen a couple episodes.
Okay. Supernatural, and in these shows, their appearances often blend with other paranormal themes, contributing to the mythos of mysterious supernatural beings.
Man, you just used the word mythos. You're so cool.
That was Gina.
That's so cool.
Gina gave me that word, so thank you, Gina. Yeah. Shout out, Gina. Books. Numerous authors have included Becks in novels and anthologies. Their stories often delve into horror and speculative farts, expanding on the original.
Speculative farts?
Speculative fiction, expanding on the original urban legends. There's also a comic series that I saw that I kind of wanted to look at. So there's like a 18 series comic book series on Aftershock Comics dedicated to the Becks. I kind of want to look at. Like, I saw it the other night on the computer, and I was like, "Damn!" Like, yeah. I kind of like want to look at them.
Look into it a little bit.
Yeah. And then obviously the internet, social media, the rise of Beck stories is closely tied to the internet culture. Forums, blogs, social media platforms have spread and evolved these tales, creating a modern folklore around them. And then podcasts and YouTube.
Cracking Cans cast.
Boom.
I guess I don't have to plug my own cast or our cast on our own cast.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
What's it going to hurt?
That's all I know.
Yeah. So there's a lot of podcasts out there that do episodes, talk about the Black-Eyed Kids. A lot of YouTube channels have videos related to the Black-Eyed Kids and other supernatural phenomena.
Makes sense.
And then PBS Monstrum has a good episode on the Black-Eyed Kids that I actually watched, titled "Don't Let Them In: The Urban Legends of Black-Eyed Children." So that's a good one to check out. It's like 11 minutes long, and I enjoyed it.
11 minutes? I don't have 11 minutes to watch PBS stuff. Sorry, public broadcast station.
They have a whole Monstrum channel dedicated to urban legends.
They need to be on TBS or TNT or ABC, NBC, CBS,
Pornhub.
ESPN, History Channel, Discovery, OWN, CNN. Not CNN. No way.
Did you hear what I said?
What?
Pornhub.
That's disgusting. Why do you...
That's where I do my most reading.
I believe that. I do. Gosh almighty. Continue with your topic.
Because I know earlier we were talking about like reading books and stuff. Like, I don't read books, but I can read articles.
Yeah.
And read videos, titles.
I can read videos. You should have just said that. I can read videos. They're fun. I like when the closed captioning's on a good porno. Loud moaning, loud moaning, loud moaning.
What time we got? All right, I'm gonna touch on this. So the one thing that I was kind of curious in, I mean, it's not directly related to the Becks, but I looked into some movies in general, and when children started being portrayed as being evil, sinister type characters in movies, because honestly, whenever this movement started, it was complete genius to use these little people who we see, or we as adults are programmed to naturally like protect.
Yeah.
So I started looking up some of these I've seen, some of them I haven't.
Yeah.
The first, I mean, there were some other ones before this one, but the first big one was called The Bad Seed in 1956.
Yeah.
Where a young girl exhibits sociopathic tendencies and is suspected of murder. 1916, Village of Damned. Children with telepathic abilities pose a threat to a small town. 1968, Rosemary's Baby involves a child born from a satanic ritual with malevolent. Malevolent.
Words are hard sometimes.
Malevolent traits.
Yeah, been there.
And then obviously The Exorcist in 1973. Young girl Regan is possessed by a demonic entity and exhibits disturbing behavior. The Omen in 1976.
With
Damien Thorne, a young boy, is the Antichrist. Children of the Corn, 1984. A cult of children commit murder under a divine directive.
I'm pretty sure Children of the Corn is a Stephen King book.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
So is the other one here that I'm going to go over. I mean, some of these other ones might be, I don't know. The Good Son.
Freaking Macaulay Culkin.
I never saw that one.
Who was the other kid?
I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
Man. It's gonna drive. Was it the guy that played Frodo? He was in it.
Apparently, I don't know. Well, no.
Frodo.
That wasn't Frodo. What was that one city or whatever that I didn't know, that one episode? I said Dumb and Dumber?
Dallas.
It was not Dallas.
Oh.
It was
Fargo.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. Dallas. So yeah, The Good Son, and then Pet Cemetery, and these aren't in order, but these two, I messed it up. Pet Cemetery, 1989.
Well, they did a remake on Pet Cemetery the other day.
Yeah,
the other year.
The other day, yeah.
It wasn't that long ago.
That was probably like 10 years ago.
The remake of Pet Cemetery was within the last 3 years.
Well, they made another remake then like 10 years ago.
Yeah, maybe.
They made a remake of the remake then.
Probably.
'Cause I remember watching that with Kendra back when like we were in high school.
Yeah. That was probably like a straight-to-DVD jobber there.
But anyway, Pet Cemetery, young boy resurrected from the dead, exhibits malevolent behavior.
Male violence.
Shut up. The Ring, 2002. A ghostly young girl leads to a series of deaths. Orphan, 2009. A disturbed adult woman poses as a child in a chilling narrative. And then in 2008, there was another one called The Children. Children become homicidal after exposure to a mysterious illness. So these were just some of the big ones that I saw from 1956 up till 2008, 2009.
Pretty sure The Good Son was like Oscar nominated.
Was it? I've heard about that one. I just haven't seen it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. When I started looking at this topic, I just wanted to I kind of wanted to look up okay, when did children start being featured in, horror films and just seen as these sociological killers.
Yeah.
Basically. So I just kind of wanted to add that.
All those movies are better than Halloween Ends. I know that for sure.
Still haven't watched it yet.
Yep, don't do it.
But I also wanted to add, as we kind of wrap this up, I saw something about the white-eyed kids.
Those are in the more uppity neighborhoods. Just saying.
I mean, in a way, you're kind of right. So
I know I am. I know nothing about them, and I know I'm right.
So the white-eyed kids are known to knock on car windows or house doors, just like the black-eyed kids. But they typically go solo, not with groups.
And they ask, "Can you give me a ride to my private tennis lesson? Do you mind if you take me downtown and I don't know, get me an ice cream cone." I don't know. It doesn't really work.
Yeah, to see my daddy?
Yeah. No, not to see dad. He's on Wall Street working right now. Sorry.
Typically, it's in isolated areas like the woods or campgrounds. They don't need permission to enter houses. They just freaking show up in somebody's house.
Yeah, so they're just not the same then.
No.
They're just not the same.
So white-eyed children are powerful telepaths using mind control to communicate.
So totally, like, these are just totally different.
Yeah. Witnesses often report not feeling anything odd with the conversation with the white-eyed children until they vanish into thin air or they see their eyes, which are just completely white. Many also claim to have seen the children stare at them weeks or even days after the initial encounter. They also often find handprints on their car windows, implicating that they were being followed.
Bum, bum, bum.
Some attribute the white-eyed children to messengers of death, as they were often shown appearing prior to the deaths of someone the witness knew to mean that they most likely are there to warn of impending death. And many believe that the whacks, or the white-eyed kids,
The wankers.
are the leaders or like the next level of the black-eyed kids.
Well, yeah, they're telepathic and stuff and just come right on in. I would say they're
So like
they're a little
the
bit stronger.
black-eyed kids are like the bottom of the barrel, like, you know, your infantry.
Yeah.
And then the white-eyed kids are like
They're like, yeah.
freaking generals.
Like the Valtori from the Twilight Saga.
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. There wasn't much out there about them, but I saw that and just thought it was kind of interesting. So I saw some stuff on Wiki Villains.
Wiki Villains, which is where we get all our source material.
Not all of it, but yeah, some of it.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, we get some there.
So yeah, that's what we got for this.
Which means it is time for the folklore score. So we're going to take a second, do our folklore score, and we'll be back in right now. All right, we're back. Folklore scoring it up, and I will unveil mine right now. I gave it a 32.
I gave it a 38.
38, which makes it an even 70. Right there on the cusp. I actually had a 30. I changed one of my answers. So, yeah, so that puts it right under Mothman, right above Bloody Mary. So that'll put it in, once we get the other ones up on the board, in the, 4 spot? Yeah, in the 4 spot, which is pretty solid. Yeah. So going down through the list for spookiness, I gave it a 10.
I gave it a 10 as well.
Yeah. I don't think we really need to talk about that. That's just nightmare-fueled stuff there. Historical, cultural significance, I actually gave it a 6. Because of it kind of being the first urban legend that kind of brought us into the technology era, I guess you could say. So, what'd you give it?
I gave it a 3. Just minor historical or cultural relevance. And I guess I just looked at it compared to some of the other ones that, you know, were back in like the 1600s, 1500s and stuff. I kind of looked at it like that, and like it hasn't been around as long. So I don't know, I made it a little lower.
What'd you have for believability?
I gave it an 8.
An 8.
And I guess I gave it an 8 just because of the amount of reports or experiences that people have had with these things in the last, 25, 29 years.
Yeah. I gave it a 5. I feel like it's middle of the pack. Most of the stories are like kind of hearsay, so it's one of those things where it's hard to decide whether for sure I believe it or not. For uniqueness, I gave it a 7. Thought it was pretty unique. I thought, though, I guess what took it away from the uniqueness to me is just like some of the things about it just seemed like very like demonic in the way other creatures are that same way. So that's just kind of why I didn't maybe give it a little bit higher of a score.
And I guess I gave it a 9, just because, at least from what I've seen, there ain't any other like kids being presented like these urban legends. But I didn't give it a 10 because of, it seems like it kind of combines a lot of other urban legend type beings into one, so to speak.
And then for threat level, what'd you give her?
I gave it an 8 because most of the stories that I saw, maybe not most, but a lot of them, the people that encountered these things suffered some type of illness, sickness. I mean, very rarely, obviously, death. Like, that was the one story that I went over. But there's been, people getting sick, people, bloody noses, this, that. Like, it seems like it's a high threat level that something's going to happen when you interact with these. Even if it's only a short-term thing versus long-term thing, it seems like there's going to be something going on with you.
Yeah, I gave it a 4 because, like, kind of under a 3 and 4, we have it as, like, a minor danger. And I think a minor danger is because it's something that can become, I guess, treatable in a way. So, obviously, besides poor DUG, that dude.
Yeah.
He didn't see that coming. But it was almost weird in that story because it's like, I don't know whether it was the black-eyed children or just some freak accident happened that night,
And I guess, like, I gave it the 8 just because it seemed like most of the stories, like, something happened.
Yeah.
Like, it was a high chance of something, some type of something was going to happen with you, basically.
So that's another week. That's another spine tingler. And just to kind of rehash the spine tingler category, this urban legend offers listeners a thrilling experience with their captivating narratives and notable threat levels. While not reaching the highest echelon of danger, these legends still keep the audience on edge with their chilling scenarios. And I think that's, I would say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
So with that is another episode of the KCC cast. You like how I did that?
The KCC.
Yeah, that's right.
Did you add an extra C in there?
KCC, Cracking Cans
I
cast.
thought you said CCC.
I did say CCC. The KCC is done.
The Cracking Cans cast, Corey.
I don't think I added 4 C's, did I?
That's 3 C's.
I know. But I'm saying, did I add a third C to it?
I feel like
I thought
you
I
did.
said KCC.
I feel like the first time you said it, you might have said an extra C. Maybe not.
We'll see. We'll see when I play it back. I can edit it to make myself look good either way, so it works out perfect for me. But this will be kind of the last episode we have out in September. We have big stuff planned for October.
October's going to be fun.
Yeah, we have Salem Witch Trials. We have History of Halloween. Probably at least 4 episodes out in October, so we're excited. A lot of work.
A lot of October
fun.
A lot of October brews.
A lot of brews,
Yeah.
which is good. And they won't be brewed in a witch's kettle either. Well, maybe they will. I don't know. I'm not against that, as long as they taste good.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't turn me into a frog or something.
Yeah, or it tastes better than this Enigma did.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. It was okay. Yeah.
I think you're being generous.
It was all right. Making me gassy already, but it was all right. So with that, social medias, follow us. Make sure you give us some 5 stars on Apple and Spotify. It really helps the cast. Make sure you give us a download. We're on Instagram, X, Threads, YouTube,
Which,
Facebook.
honestly, X and Threads, like, you might as well not even go to them.
Yeah, and YouTube is just, but Facebook and Instagram we're pretty active on. So
and TikTok.
Oh yeah, the Tic Tac. Forget about that with the patty whack,
like
and I give that
3.
dog a bone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So with that, we're out of here. My name is Crack Daddy Mike, and I'm going to throw it over to Butt Crack Corey.
So, we've explored the chilling tales of black-eyed kids and their eerie encounters tonight, but as we wrap up, remember, the boundaries between our world and theirs are thin. The next time you hear a knock at the door, don't be so quick to answer. What if they're already watching you from the shadows, waiting for their next opportunity? Stay vigilant. The ultimate terror might be closer than you think.
All I can think is, do you think that veil is as thin as the crotch of my underwear? Because there ain't much there left. It's a couple strings holding it. I hope it ain't that thin.
Dude, there's no strings holding mine.
We're in trouble. Mine's basically a skirt with a couple pieces of elastic around my legs.
Mine is a skirt.
Yeah, I had to get rid of a bunch of underwear, but I'm out of here. See ya.
Later.